Welcome to my One Piece chapter 1066 review. This week's chapter actually had a lot of information, and that is also the reason why I took quite a long time between my reading, my reaction video, and my review video. There was a lot of information to take in and to analyze and think about why a certain thing happened. In this chapter, Shaka, so the number one Vegapunk, revealed to the Straw Hat Pirates that the world government actually erased the information about the Void Century. That, of course, leaves everyone shocked. During this reveal of Vegapunk actually also talks about the ancient civilization, so from the robot that we saw. So there was an ancient civilization during the Void Century who battled against the 20 kingdoms of the world government. This also actually raises a very important question, because how to explain this. An advanced civilization does not usually lose against a primitive, so to speak, a primitive civilization. You see this enough in movies where aliens invade. We lose against aliens quite easily. It's over dramatic and stuff like that. But just think about it. Right now, with our technology right now of tanks and rockets and guns and gunpowders and whatever, how do you think a war would end if we fought ourselves in the past where we were still using swords? I think it's pretty clear that almost no one would die on our side, and our ancestors would lose practically everything, right? So that's basically what happened against the ancient, the advanced civilization, better said, and the 20 kingdoms. That should have happened as well. The advanced civilization should have won, but they lost somehow. So that already gives me an idea that Pluton and Poseidon and whatever, so I don't remember how they are called, the ancient weapons, were used. I also think that the ancient weapons were actually initially invented by this advanced civilization from the past, as they of course had the technology. I think the world government got their hands on it somehow and destroyed the whole civilization, keeping important things for themselves, which is also why now there are celestial dragons. Also, it's very interesting to see that they are always talking about celestial stuff, like Nika, the sun god. There are celestial bodies. The moon people is always connected to space, and I think space is going to become a very important part of the One Piece story later on. Of course, we are later on, but I mean near the end of the story. I think space is going to be very important here. I'll talk about space a little bit later. The information that Vegapunk is giving, while he is giving the information about this to the Straw Hat Pirates, he also talks about that people who know about this or know anything about this information get eliminated, just like the people in Ohara. So he starts talking about Ohara, and so that's a place where Robin lived when she was a child, the archaeologist's island, of course, where, by the way, we discovered that Clover was actually an archaeologist pirate who was captured 10 times already. That's very funny to know that actually the old guy was also a famous pirate, and he managed to escape, which is impressive for the old man, but it's not very important. So basically Vegapunk explains that everyone who knows information is getting eliminated, even him, if they know that he knows something. And this already tells me that the reason why CP0, as I said during the chapter reading of that specific chapter, I don't remember which chapter it was, I think like 4 chapters ago, where we first got to Egghead Island, and then we all of a sudden saw CP0. That CP0 is now trying to eliminate Vegapunk, all the Vegapunks, so not just one, but all the Vegapunks. This is because they discovered that Vegapunk knows something. And that's basically also what I said at the beginning, that Vegapunk knows too much. He knows something, now we know what he knows. It has everything to do with the Void Sentry. Also, the Void Sentry is very interesting now and becomes more and more important as we also get to know that the books of Ohara, which everyone thought was burned except for Vegapunk and the Giants, because Vegapunk revealed that the books of Ohara were actually saved. How did they save it? They threw it in a lake. I don't know if you remember this, but when the Buster Call was there, all the archaeologists were putting their lives on the line to throw books in the lake to try and save something. This all worked. And that's very fascinating, because even though they put it there, by the time Vegapunk gets to the island where the Buster Call was called upon, also important to know, Vegapunk was the one who discovered the books in the pit. By the time Vegapunk gets there, it's already been months. As it's already been months, it should be clear to everyone that it doesn't make sense for the world government to not know that those books were still in the pit, unless they got misinformation. Because even though there was a Buster Call and everything was destroyed, there was still an island, so there should have been scouts to see if anyone was left alive. We know Kuzan was there, Aokiji was there, and this is a very important thing. Everyone always had the idea that Kuzan was a shady figure and actually was linked to the revolutionaries, and although I'm not sure if he's related to the revolutionaries, now it becomes very clear that Aokiji is a good guy, and I think he's just a guy like Dragon who wants to change the world. He wants to make the world a better place. Do I think he is affiliated to the revolutionaries? As of now, I don't really see the point as to why he would be affiliated to the revolutionaries, but I am very sure that he wants to create a better world, knows about the world government's past, and just wants it to be better. Why is he a good guy? There are plenty of times when we saw Aokiji do something good. He spared Robin, back at Ohara when he actually killed Saul the Jaguar. I'll talk about that later. He just let Robin go. A Vice Admiral, it doesn't make sense that a guy like Aokiji would let a kid escape without any backup plan and whatever. He just would not do it. It's impossible to imagine that a guy like Aokiji, if he was a true guy in the world government, and I'm not talking about guys like Garp. Garp, of course, is also a different story. I think Aokiji is more like Garp, but does more behind the scenes to try to make the world government better. Then, of course, we also get the part where Aokiji spared the Straw Hat Pirates, and the part where at the island where they first met each other, where Robin, of course, knew who Aokiji was. All the others did not know. And there it's also very important to know that he did freeze I think it was Zoro and Luffy. Yeah, he froze Zoro's arm or something, and he froze Luffy entirely, I think. I don't remember fully, but he froze something from Luffy, and they all were thinking that Luffy was going to die. And there it also got revealed. Well, not revealed. And there we also got Luffy to still be alive. Later on in the chapter, it is revealed that Saul the Jaguar is still alive. I do not have a problem with that. For the first time ever, I do not have a problem with someone who's supposedly dead to still be alive. Why? Because it actually makes sense. Luffy was able to survive. Aokiji is doing good stuff. I think he defroze Saul the Jaguar himself. I think after everyone left the island, he went back there, he defroze Saul the Jaguar, gave him some first aid, etc. Why do I think it's Aokiji? As I said earlier, it's been months since the books have been supposedly destroyed, so it would make sense that there is someone important and someone trustworthy. A vice admiral would be trustworthy to the world government. It would make sense that someone from the world government scouted the island after the buster call. That person, Aokiji, again. It all makes perfect sense. Aokiji is the one that got to the island. He scouted the island after the buster call. I would not be surprised that there are more people still alive that Aokiji did not tell about to the world government. Then, of course, we also get the part where Aokiji met, or not specifically met, but he was near the Straw Hat Pirates for the second time. I don't remember what party there was, but there was like a victory party of the Straw Hat Pirates. We get them all the time, and all of a sudden we see Robin drinking a glass, leaning over against the wall, and yes, I remember again, it was after Annie's lobby, after they defeated CP9. So after they defeated CP9, they have a victory drink and party, whatever. Robin leans back against the wall. Aokiji is on the other side of the wall. He starts talking about the past in Ohara against Robin, about that she finally found a place where she can be happy with and family. If she didn't meet them, that he would be forced to eliminate her because she's a ticking time bomb, etc., etc. He could have killed them again there. As a guy from the world government, I'm sure an admiral, Kizaru would have killed him. Even though he's a lazy ass, he would have killed him. Fujitora, he would not have killed them, but he would have captured them, sent them to Annie's lobby. Green Bull would have killed them. Akainu would have burned the whole place down. Sengoku also probably would have captured them. Garp would have kind of done the same thing as Aokiji, but then a little bit more extreme, like the first time where we saw Garp. He would have made a fake battle against the Straw Hat Pirates to let them escape and not be in trouble himself, etc., etc. So Aokiji secretly just meets them without anyone knowing, which again indicates that he is a good guy. So it is very clear, and this chapter makes it very clear that Aokiji is a good guy. He is the one who spared the books from Ohara. He saw them. He told Saul the Jaguar, get the giants, get back to Elbaf, get the giants, save the books, go to Elbaf with them. Why Elbaf? I do not know why Elbaf. Probably just because Saul the Jaguar was there. But also this indicates that Elbaf is going to be the next destination. And Elbaf is also going to be one of the most important islands in the whole of One Piece. Up to now, I actually did not see a reason why we would go to Elbaf, except for the fact that it was the island of the giants. It would be exciting to see so many giants, etc., etc. But I didn't really see a storyline going there. Now we see a real storyline with the Giants going into Elbaf, with the books of Ohara, with the information about the Void Century. I think the world government, or CP0 better said, I think CP0 is going to be fundamental in this, and Lucci probably. Lucci is going to survive. Lucci is going to give information that he heard to the world government. They are going to discover that Elbaf has the books of Ohara. This will lead to a war. This chapter is a very important setup chapter. I think people actually do not realize, but this chapter is the setup for the next war. The next war, or next clash, between Joy Boy, aka Luffy, and the world government. We all know the Straw Hat Pirates are going to be at Elbaf when the world government engages on Elbaf. Straw Hat Luffy is not having that. Our guy is not having that. He's going to destroy the world government in Elbaf. How exciting is that? To me, that's super exciting. And yeah, this chapter is just such an amazing setup chapter. It's impossible to imagine. This is one of the best chapters. This is one of the chapters that you live for. Or yeah, as a fan, you live for these kind of chapters. It's impossible to imagine how important this chapter actually was. And as Shaka keeps on talking about Ohara and stuff like that, he also all of a sudden talks about Dragon and the Revolutionary Army. So Dragon, we also get to discover why Dragon actually created the Revolutionary Army, to create a force to reckon with the world government and to overthrow the world government, because yeah, Dragon is kind of the same as Aokiji, but more a front guy. He is directly going to go against the world government, while Aokiji stays in the background, tried to manipulate them, or not manipulate them, tried to change them from the inside. Didn't work, unfortunately, although I still think that he works for Sword. So I actually I cannot say that he is not succeeding in changing it from the inside. But anyway, we're drifting off a little bit there. As Vegapunk, or Shaka, talks about the revolutionaries, he also reveals to the Straw Hat Pirates that Ivankov, Dragon, and Kuma are the three founders of the Revolutionary Army. We get a very funny reaction out of that with Sanji, Robin, Frankie, and Usopp, because they all did not know that Ivankov, especially Sanji, they did not know that Ivankov was also one of the founders. I think Robin already saw Ivankov, so Robin, of course, is not that surprised. But she was surprised about the Kuma part, I think. But Sanji was actually surprised about the Ivankov, because, of course, he knows Ivankov, probably hates him to death, and then it gets revealed that Ivankov is actually a very close friend or co-worker of Dragon. So Sanji's reaction there was godlike. I absolutely loved that part. But anyway, that was about the part for Shaka. After Shaka revealed the things about Ohara and the Void Century, etc., we finally go to Straw Hat Luffy with Chopper and Bonnie and Jinbei. Cannot forget my boy Jinbei. Still have to get used to him being at the crew as of right now. But anyway, as they are walking up the giant, all of a sudden they see like shockwaves or ripples of space and time. I think it's ripples of space and time. And they are surprised. And all of a sudden, the real Vegapunk comes out. This is very exciting, because the real Vegapunk, or the real life Vegapunk, which is Einstein, by the way. Einstein was also fascinated by space and time, made a lot of theories about space and time, and it's very funny and a genius idea to make Vegapunk also fascinated by space and time in the One Piece universe. Vegapunk kind of teleports or warps at that place. It's not very clear what that is. And I'm laughing about this because it's like, it doesn't make sense. I think it's the technology of the ancient kingdom, the advanced ancient civilization. Why do I think it's a technology and not devil fruit? Because there are actually already 2 devil fruits that are space and time related. There is one that we saw recently by Ogre. Ogre has a warp fruit where he can teleport, which is basically a space fruit. He can manipulate space, he can warp, stuff like that. Also, Law actually kind of has a space fruit, as he can also teleport stuff. Law's fruits allows him to change 2 things and switch them from places. I don't know how to explain it better, I'm sorry. But you get the idea. And then of course we also have the time fruit already with Momonosuke's mother, who can send someone in the future. So we already have a fruit that can send someone in the future. So yeah, it actually makes sense that it's no real fruit. Why? Now that I'm talking about this, it actually also makes sense that it's not a fruit, because if it was a fruit about space and time, Vegapunk would be able to travel back in time to the Void Century, just warn everyone about you're going to be destroyed by the 20 Kingdoms, do something about it, etc, etc. You can make a lot of theories about that. In my opinion, it's all tech. I think it's tech from the advanced civilization, from the Void Century, and I do not think that it's a devil fruit, or it would be some weird devil fruit that we still have to discover. And of course there are a lot of weird devil fruits that we already saw. So again, I would not be surprised that it is a devil fruit, but my first guess is that it is a tech. So yeah, my final score for this chapter is a 5 out of 5. This is one of the chapters, as I said, that is going to be one of the most important chapters in the whole of One Piece. One of the most important chapters in the whole of One Piece, as it is a setup for Joy Boy, aka Luffy, to clash with the world government. This is what we live for. This is my review, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you agree with me, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.